Understanding the cultural diversity of Canada is key to effective cross-cultural communication. I'm very fortunate to have three guests from Queen's International Centre to discuss cultural experiences, cross-cultural communication. Welcome. Crystal, where are you from?
I'm from Malaysia,
Okay.
and I've been here for the past 3 years.
3 years.
For my undergrad degree.
Okay. Okay, what are you studying?
I'm studying economics.
Economics at Queen's University.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my name is Ignacio. I'm from Chile. I'm studying life science at Queen's.
Okay.
It's a year-long program.
Oh, okay.
Here, so.
Good. Okay.
And my name is Jennifer, and I was born in Indonesia but moved to Singapore when I was 8, and I've been in Canada ever since I was 16.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you all come at different times, different experiences in Canada. Crystal, can I start with you? So you came to study at Queen's University.
Yeah.
Can you tell me some of the experiences, particularly something that maybe was different coming and arriving in Canada from your culture?
What struck me the most in my first year when I came here, because Kingston is more of a white city. So when I came here, I was trying to look for connections and like people that I can feel connected with, but I cannot do that in my first day, and I was really, really intimidated. And I was also really intimidated by how people here were so expressive about themselves and outgoing, but from where I came from, like my culture, we are more conservative and like not so like outspoken, so I was really intimidated by that when I first came here, and I was struggling to cope with that.
Okay, so more outspoken in Canada than in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
okay.
people were more expressive about themselves, like certain things that we don't usually talk about back home, people here don't mind talking about it.
Can you give me an example of something like
Something like if they found something disgusting in your feet, they'd be like, ew, look at my feet, like I got like my feet stink or whatever. But back in Malaysia, maybe you'd be like, you try to hide that, you want to let people know that your feet stink or whatever. But people here aren't afraid to tell people what they are feeling.
And so was that feeling something just uncomfortable, or would you say that it was, that was almost wrong? Or was
Both, a little bit of both, I would say, because back home we don't do that, and like probably our parents would discourage us to do that also because you'd be judged. And like back home, I feel like it's more of a judgmental society in a very quiet, silent manner. But here, people, since they're more outspoken, if they don't like something about you, they might tell you out, like in your face, like, I don't like it if you do that. But back home in my country, like we probably don't talk about it, but we might give you a cold shoulder because we don't like the way that you do.
Are you talking about stinky feet now?
Yeah,
are you feeling comfortable?
I'm talking about like being expressive, like too expressive about yourself.
But would you feel comfortable commenting on someone's stinky feet now that you've been in Canada for a while, or no? That hasn't changed?
I'll still be more careful about what I say, especially if I'm back home, like, because, I'll get that reverse culture shock thing.
Okay. What about you, Ignacio?
No,
either connected
it's the
to...
opposite.
It's the opposite?
Yeah,
okay.
I think like in Chile we're way more open than here, and we talk about more stuff. I mean, the first shock was saying hi to people, you just shake hands, where instead we kiss back in Chile. You kiss in the cheek, like I kiss my parents, my friends. So it's definitely like more closer, more touch.
More physical contact.
Yeah. And
what about comments, about people's comments about things that they do and think?
I would say we do more comments. Yeah, we talk about more stuff. Like, and you can tell everything to people and you're not offending them. Like you can call them fat, you can call them whatever, and they don't get offended. That's okay.
And it's not considered rude?
Exactly.
Okay.
Not at all.
So do you find that Canadian culture, in your opinion, is more polite or just more reserved?
I would say, more reserved would be the word. Because it's not that we're not polite, it's just that's like part of the culture is accepted, right? So you're not being rude or unpolite.
Okay.
Right? So it's just different approaches, different ways.
Yeah, okay. Right, what do you think, Jennifer?
For me, what struck me the most about Canadian culture is the politeness and indirectness in the way they express their thoughts. So like, for example, if I ask like a Canadian something, like they will never say no directly to me, but in Singapore, it will be like you can just say no, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay. If you feel that Canadian culture in general is more open or less open or more reserved or less reserved, How do you know that's a reflection of Canadian culture and it's not just you?
Well, I will say that it's a mixture of both, right? Because one is your culture, and then you come here and face another one. And then it depends on like how many different people you relate with and can say like, okay, this is definitely a trend, like all the Canadians that I have met behave in the same way. Or it's like, oh no, this person was particularly like this, or yeah. So it's a mixture.
So you know that it's not just your personality, you know it's the culture because you've met several Canadians that are doing this. Okay, yeah. Any big differences for you that were good differences?
I'm just gonna add on to what.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say first. In my first year, I followed my Canadian roommate back home to her hometown in London, Ontario. And so what struck me the most was how expressive and open she was with her parents. Like she talks back to her parents, and like when her parents, not in like a rude way, but in a more of like, I want to share my opinions with you. Like if her mom says, you have to eat vegetables, and then she'll be like, but I don't want to eat vegetables. Like I don't like it. I already ate a lot yesterday. But back home, I am not supposed to talk back to my parents because they'll be considered rude. So I'll just have to accept, like if my parents ask me to eat vegetables because it's for my own good, I will eat it. Like I cannot talk back because if I do, my parents will scold me and like be like, that's rude. You're not supposed to talk back.
So being very obedient to your parents is considered to be respectful.
Yes.
What do you think? Same thing in your culture? Different?
No, it's different. Like you can, we definitely have a closer relationship with our parents, but yeah, you can defy some stuff.
You can.
Also, like in university is different because the normal trend is that you live with your parents on university, right? Like, and apparently here, if you're studying in Toronto, like that happens, but normally you move out when you go to university, right? And that's like the thing in North America, and that creates like another, I don't know, they're independent but not quite. They still depend on their parents to pay the university loans, but at the same time they live alone and they have all these liberties of living alone and being by themselves. So that's a big difference.
Just to build on what Ignacio said, like in the Asian culture, it is customary for children to stay and live with their parents until they're married. So like when I first know that in North America you tend to move out in university and start living alone independently, I thought that was different and interesting. So yeah.
Good difference?
I guess, yeah, good difference.
There's a bit of a judgment right, when I say good difference or bad difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sort of setting you up for judging that difference. But
I would say that it's not good or bad. I think it's more like, does this can you do that in your system? Because like if you, for example, in Europe, like the government supports it, right? You don't pay for education, you don't pay for health, you don't, like, whereas in Chile you need to pay for all of that. So like
no free education. No taxes.
So yeah. So now it's changing and they're including in the taxes, but that's the thing. Like you cannot afford that living alone and then studying. Right?